welcome to the final game of the C4 Gaming Battle Cup. This is going to be a best of 3 with the first map starting off on Inferno, which is the pick by Team Maddox. So Team Extreme elects to stay on the CD side, making a smart choice, trying to get out as many rounds as they can. They displayed an amazing CD side yesterday against Team Sid, but Team Sid made a very excellent comeback, and towards the end, with a fair bit of luck and a fair bit of skill, Team Extreme managed to salvage the situation and still win the map 16-11 in what was a 12-3 switch to Team Extreme. So just waiting on the last player of Team Maddox to join. I think that is Jihad John. No, Jihad John is on Team CT, I beg your pardon. Just waiting for the final member of Team Maddox to join in before we begin with the game directly going into live. It should be a bit of an interesting matchup, as both the captains are extremely skilled players, both extremely skilled shot callers. Team Maddox, of course, a very strong tactician in terms of creating defaults, creating strats, and Team Extreme mainly relying on Extreme's ability to get his entries and his extremely superior level of shooting. Bogeyman seems to be having a problem with his rates. Where's the camera, Mom? You're on camera, baby. You want the camera? There you go. So the maps that have been elected are Team Maddox picked out Inferno as the first map, Team Extreme picks out Train to be the second, and Cash was left over after the final veto to be the final map for today. And of course it's a best of 3, so depending on how it goes, we may not even see the final map come in. Inferno might be a bit of a tough map. We see Kenpachi on Team Extreme. Yesterday he was of course playing for I'm forgetting his name. Starboy, yeah. He was playing for Team Starboy yesterday, and Shubjen was on Team Extreme due to certain unforeseeable circumstances. He wasn't able to make it today, so we have Kenpachi in his place. And which is one doesn't even know whether, one can't even say who's the better of the two, and when it comes to Kenpachi and Shubjen, because both have their days, and those days come very sparingly, if I may say so. So yes, it seems to be a bit of an even switch. You can't rate one player above the other, so it seems like Team Extreme still stands at the same level with no particular advantage or disadvantage to speak of. Still waiting on the server to commence with the game. And Jihad John with some colorful language in the start of the game. Seems like the banter's already setting in. This is almost like, okay, we've got India-Pakistan running in the background today. We've got our very own India-Pakistan in this cafe today, as the rivalry in-game, of course, between Extreme and Maddox, it stands testament today. Still waiting very patiently, as can't even call it technical issues. It's just general psychological issues that people have over here. Okay, yes, the freeze time pause has finally been cancelled. And we're going live. Let's see. The kid coming out on Kenpachi. And the team captain, who's now kept his name as Hevan on Team Maddox, he has elected to go for a smoke and a flash. It seems interesting what they can do with this. Okay, they're going for the alt-mid rush with not a single member committing to watching the backstab. Oh, the captain himself goes for that role. And one guy immediately gets picked off in-house. Ab Dangal Hoga, repeating his same performance as yesterday, with picking off immediately. 3 players getting picked off, but Momga, the camera, manages to get a pick for himself. Haivan, the captain, manages to equalize the situation. It's still a 3v2 in favor of the CTs. However, the Ts do end up having A-side control. They've got the bomb with them. Extreme gets the pick off and gets the bomb dropped. The captain himself falling, Haivan. And now it's all up to Boogeyman, who gets one pick, almost gets the second pick, and he finishes off the game with some lovely shooting right there. The CTs unfortunately going in one at a time instead of doing the smart move and double peeking the same angle when they knew his position. But anyway, no harm, no foul. The force buys in this cafe seem to be legendary, where we always win the pistol round but then somehow manage to screw up the anti-eco because we are very, very talented that way. Team Maddox going again for that alt mid control, with Boogeyman watching the banana push as well as Evan seems to be watching mid. Boogeyman spots out the deagle shot at banana and wisely falls back. Dangal immediately managing to getting a pick, but Boogeyman equalizes that by catching the banana push off guard. Warlord caught with his pants down right there. Slowly the T team trying to make headway in the banana. They spot out Jihad John, and Jihad John immediately falls. He does take quite a bit of HP off Boogeyman. The Boogeyman down to 24 HP. Rubik slowly losing HP. The mid's been pushed right at the back, and they don't seem to be able to spot this out. And Rubik not calling it out for his team. They know they're completely sandwiched at this point. It depends on where and which side they end up getting the pick off. And Rubik trying to go for that. Sorry, Kenpachi trying to go for that cheeky knife, then fails. A D team making their way now towards the A bomb side. They don't want to risk losing any more members here. 2 members of their team are already on barely any health, and they spot him out over at library. And Extreme making his way up mid, gets the pick onto Hevan. Now it's all on the Dangal, where he can get this pick here, and he falls down, but he reduces them. It's sad. That could have gone very well in favor of the series because both have been reduced to really low HP, but Extreme with that 5-7 wasn't really able to equalize the situation. Both the Ts having SMGs, they're able to close the round quite comfortably towards the end. But having lost 3 of their members in this anti-eco, they're going for the SMG investment once again, maybe try and build up a little more economy so that they can get those AKs in with those full utilities. Boogeyman going for the mid-right smoke, maybe they're going for a fast mid-execute, flashing out mid-left. And the CT is patiently, very patiently waiting. And Rubik catches Jihad John off guard, and what a pick from Warlord out at Apps, that USP, and Dangal Hoga hiding at the site manages to get one more for himself, and Boogeyman immediately catches him off. Rubik shooter cutting off that arch rotation, but watching the angle over at arch, since obviously he smoked off library. But ooh, he spots him out, Rubik, you might want to back off, bruh. You have 5 HP. And they spot the library guy, and Mom get the camera immediately kills him off. So we now come into the first buy round for the CTs, investing in those rifles and those M4s, Warlord with a decent No offensive utilities, just one Molotov coming out on Jihad John because he invested in that FAMAS, but the rest of them extreme, having no smoke for himself, and as always just relying on his raw shooting to get him out of the situation. Again, the T is managing to keep their SMGs, they're not going for the AK buys, they know there's someone out at Sandbag, and Jihad John immediately with 2 picks. Can they equalize this? Yes they do. Boogeyman picks off the guy at Banana. Roxy watching the back push, and up Dangal Hoga rotating out over to the B side. Mom get the camera. Warlord immediately catching out Boogeyman. Can Warlord gets the second and the dink onto the third. Now it's all up to Mom get the camera, and he runs out of bullets and falls immediately. Round going in favor of the CTs, losing only one member and only one FAMAS off there, with the other CTs managing to retain their rifles. Fair bit of utility coming out. No kit onto Dangal Hoga, even though he still has 2,100 in the bank. Maybe it's a fair investment. Seems like 4 people having kits, it won't be such a big problem. He may not have to really invest in the kit here. The D's coming out, of course, with a full buy. AKs, rifles, only a Galil and a smoke onto Roxy, probably because he did not have the cash to invest. Might have dropped the AK for another member of his team last round. Got 2 people. So this seems to be the standard default strat on the T side, which Maddox has created for his team. Only watching mid and Banana. 2 people on alt mid. And the captain himself probably making his way up on mid to try and see if he can get those entry. I think after yesterday, with the amount of frustration that Team Maddox had to face, Dangal Hoga immediately getting a pick onto Roxy. He went right all the way up into apps without anyone to trade frag for. Mom get the camera, spots out one guy in the shelter, and he knows he's still there, and immediately a waste of a Molotov coming out from both the T's out over at mid. CT's out over at mid, I beg your pardon. Mom get the camera again, trying to go all the way and get that pick, but he spots Dangal Hoga, spots him out. Mom get the camera, not checking his angles fully and getting punished for it. Kenpachi managing to pick off Boogeyman. Hevan picking off Kenpachi himself, but Extreme immediately trades that out himself. We've got only Rubik left out over at mid. Bombs over at second mid. We've got wisely Jihad John rotates over to back up his teammate at the B side, so keeping a standard 2-2, dividing their numbers in such a way. And Rubik runs out of time, saves that rifle. Nothing can really do over here. Saves the rifle, saves his utility. Boogeyman with over 6,000 in the bank. He's gonna drop some pistols for his team, maybe go for the standard Tech 9 armor push. 2-3 in favor of the CTs, in favor of the T's, I beg your pardon. Now it'll be interesting to see what setup they run. They know that Dangal Hoga has been creating a massive problem for them out of the apartment, so will they be looking to aggress onto him and immediately remove that threat, or will they be looking to avoid him? It seems they're going for the latter option, but as always, as is a bad habit in our gaming cafe, we love leaving the bomb behind. Nobody wants to love the bomb, so the captain himself goes to retrieve it. His teammates have taken control over an apartment. Rubik shooter firing some random shots into the pre-fire angle, trying to see if he can get that cheeky pick of someone trying to lurk behind the smoke. Interesting stack coming over at Banana over the wall, which I like to call Trump, because of Trump and the wall and blah blah blah, and might not be a great reference for people who might not understand it. Anyway, the T's again going for that apartment side control. Very weird flash coming out, and Dangal immediately falls down, but not without taking a member off with him. Mom get the camera, immediately going for that apartment plant, and he might just get punished. I don't think they realize that there's someone making their way up from apartments. Kenpachi is making his way right up apartments, but are they going to realize that the mid guy has pushed all the way up in boiler? There seems to be 2 people out in arch. Kenpachi spots out a pixel of the pit guy, and Jihad John immediately picks the pit guy out. They're trying to stack over the smoke out at library. Rubik picking off Kenpachi and picking off Extreme. Warlord picking off Rubik. Mom get the camera picking off Warlord, and now it's down to 1v1. Jihad John has the rifle. Mom get the camera only the Tech 9, but Mom get the camera having that decisive HP advantage. And he's slowly running out of time, and he falls. And I doubt Mom get the camera can survive this. And yes, he accepts his fate and falls. The T's have completely solidified their position in this map. Now they've got over 4 rounds in the bank, which was more than Team Sid could do yesterday, and immediately going for that rifle buy on the buy. And the round seems to have started. The CT team wanted the pause to come out, but unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. To our dear cafe manager, Mr. Gunner, not being in the cafe himself. The CT is still going for the rifle by Warlord, getting down to 12 HP at the start of the round. Trying to get that cheeky peek out at mid and get a shot, but immediately getting punished. He's still alive though, and he still has the AWP. I guess 100 HP or 1 HP doesn't really matter when you have the AWP, because it's just a one-shot kill anyway. He goes over at CT, but Roxy managed to get Kanpachi down all the way in boiler. Kenpachi, of course, trying to aggress a little bit beyond his boots. And the CT is going over Banana, and Dangal manages to pick up Roxy in the apartment. Roxy still trying to go ahead and take advantage of the situation. Hevan immediately pre-fires the CT boost, but then gets taken down from Jihad John hiding over a tri-box. Dangal Hoga pushing out mid, and Rubik and Bogeyman have to realize at some point. Warlord tagging both of them, but Bogeyman manages to kill Warlord off finally. I hope he realizes, but no, I don't think Dangal Hoga's push should be necessary. Jihad John is more than enough at 21 HP to take out the tagged Bogeyman, who was at 16 HP. Warlord almost getting the one for 2 right there at the sliver of health that he was at. He was at 12 HP this round, and he still managed to almost get 2 of them in one shot, which would have been like almost like a montage play. Warlord repeating yesterday's performance. Warlord's given up the AWP though. He seems to have taken an AK from his teammate, maybe not having the money to invest into the AWP. No, Extreme did have the cash, but you can see Extreme's gotten over. He has a cash bank of around 2,900. He could have given the AWP back to his teammate, may have elected to say no, okay, I'm not gonna go for the AWP this round, as they know that the T's are on an anti or are on a force buy anyway this round. Dangal Hoga being absolutely devastating in that pit house defense, not letting anyone cross through. Gets the third. Mom get the camera, not able to close him out. And Evan himself left at 100, but he gets picked off by Extreme right there. Scores getting equalized 4-4. The T's electing maybe to go for that pistol armor buy again, and yes they do. Bogeyman coming out with that Deagle, so does Rubik Shooter. Going for the head armor investment. Hevan wisely choosing not to get any armor for himself, maybe trying to get that entry, bait himself out so his team can trade, so that his team can survive. Going for the hard push up Banana. On get the camera, takes a nade and gets down to 62 HP. It's quite a bit of damage, 38 damage just coming off that one nade, which leaves him very vulnerable to that dink from the M4. Extreme immediately picking off Mom get the camera, who was lurking out at mid. Jihad John picking off Hevan. Warlord firing in the smoke preemptively, almost getting some damage off. Rubik Shooter immediately picks off Extreme with a lovely Deagle shot straight to the head. Does he realize though that Dangal has made his way all the way back? He's still watching the push over right all the way at T-base, very wisely. Kenpachi having stacked over the flower pot at CT, so they have very decisively controlled. Lovely shot from Bogeyman right on his head. taking a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, equalizing the situation to a 3v3. Still very, very winnable for the T side right here. They've still got... Kenpachi has forgone his position up at the flower pot, which was a very good control position. Now leaving Jihad John alone at the B side with CT smoked off. Kenpachi really can't help his team defend here, and Jihad will fall here. Trying to look for a safe place to plant. Both of them are really, really, really low. Kenpachi, yes, he gets one. He was tagged, and Boogie's tagged too at 19 HP. But both Boogie and Rubik Shoot are keeping that lovely crossfire going. And he spots Warlord out just at the wrong time. And Rubik making his way to a lovely position. Catching the defuse though. Kenpachi's just caught the defuse, and he obviously has the cover from his teammate. Bit of bad decision making if they were going for the banana control that early. That was just a very, very bad plant at the end coming out from the T's when they knew they could have stacked two people over at banana rather than going for construction and CT control. Both of them were really low. They should have just gone for the banana plant, but instead they end up going for a construction plant, which doesn't really help them in any case, as they had no control over that area whatsoever. But anyway, in any case, a plant coming out for the T's on a semi-force, semi-eco. And now the T's of course able to afford full rifles, full utility. The CT side economy of course seems very, very, very unstable at the moment. They might just have the money to salvage one more round if they can, if they lose this one, but then after that it's just straight up back to pistols for them. Jihad John just staring at his teammate, maybe communicating something telepathically. Dangal, as always, in his most fearsome position. He's been creating so much of a problem right from yesterday on the CT side, watching that apartment defense. And Roxy not completely checking that angle, and he's being flashed at apartments by his teammate, and Dangal immediately picks off. Jihad John picking off Hevan, and the T side in complete disarray right here. Partial smoke not being used. Ruby gets spotted over at banana, and Warlord finishes him off. There's a lovely flash coming out from Extreme to his teammate Dangal and Apps, catching Roxy off guard, switching nades, not holding his angles correctly, not checking his angles correctly. But like I've said yesterday, and I say again today, it's an amateur level game. Don't be too hard to judge, guys. A bit of a pause coming out, maybe for some kind of technical issues to be a bit of an issue with Warlord's mic. None of his teammates are able to hear him. Everyone's just discussing the current India-Pakistan match situation. The T's again going back to their pistol armor. Can salvage a buy, of course, on the next round. The CTs now have got a good economy going. 5,000, 6,000 on 3 players, 4,201, 5,000 on 1. Which means easily they can go for the double up investment on the other round, on the next round, which they may not elect to do. As no, actually they just might maybe sending Extreme over to op at A and Warlord to op at B. Warlord has proved himself to be really, really impactful with that weapon in this game, in this very game itself. But Extreme, I think, will elect to just assault if they've got one stable opera on their team. Hevan not getting any head armor for himself. Mom get the camera, no utilities. 4 flashes, 4 smokes, a molotov, and a nade for the T's to work with. and almost near full utilities. Yes, full utilities coming out on the CT side this entire round. 5 kits, all 5 have head armor. Very wisely keeping the head armor, as they know that this is a Tech 9 armor by round. They don't want to fall in just one bullet. It just rushes up mid. Can he pick off Extreme? No, he falls. Gets down in 12 HP in the Molotov. Does he call out this member of smoke? No. Extreme and Kenpachi, that crossfire out at mid proving to be too much for the T's to handle. Mom get the camera now with Roxy left alone. I apologize, it's showing a yellow blip dot for Dangal Hoga and a blue blip dot for Roxy when both are on opposite teams. Roxy gets picked off by Jihad John again, not checking his angles, not waiting for the right timing. Mom get the camera down in a 1v3. May have a slight read on the situation. He knows that they might expect him to go B because his teammate had dropped the rifle there, but wisely electing to make his way up to this side. They've got one guy watching the archway though, and he manages to pick off Extreme. Now he's got a real ton of options here and around 40 seconds to work with. And again, reading the situation correctly right here, but will he be able to get Dangal in his current position? It remains to be seen. He doesn't. He had it. He had a slight read on the situation. He knew what could happen. 3 guns falling down on the CT side, which again puts their economy in not a very stable place. The AWP comes out onto Warlord and Extreme elects to assault like I had predicted. And again, once again, the rifles coming out for the T's with full utility. Dangal and Jihad John, as always, with a massive performance. Kenpachi taking over rightfully from Shubjen. Shoes not managing to have that much of an impact onto this game. Now Hevan and Bogeyman really need to work together, but Hevan himself is... It's not about the frags, I guess, on the D side. You just have to trade it out. Frag games offer so strong, guys. This is, even though it's an amateur tournament, it's still a tournament. It's still about the kind of impact you have in this game. She's getting mollowed off at mid, not able to really make through to that push that they wanted to. Kenpachi finding a very cheeky angle in that smoke, making that a one-way for himself. Off flushing mid, Hevan picking off that angle. Does he realize that there's someone out here? Kenpachi gets flashed out immediately. He gets the pick off, but does he realize there's someone out at second mid? They smoke off mid arch side, and Bogey immediately picks off Kenpachi, but Dangal is there for the trade down at Graveyard. An Extreme picking off Hevan not checking that corner behind him, not expecting someone to be there because maybe that's too noob of a posy to be, but Extreme capitalizing on that mind game and picking that angle to be at. And Hevan, check your corners, Hevan, check your corners, man. It's something you've taught me to do. How can you fail this time, my friend? I guess it's alright, even the best make mistakes sometimes. And Warlord immediately with that mid pick manages to pick over a big shooter. Wasting his smoke out towards mid left. They immediately smoke off Boiler and smoke off Apps. Failed smoke down at Boiler though. Warlord has taken a really defensive position, very rightly so, all the way back at Arch. Now we see a 3-man rotation coming out at B, but there's only one guy on the A side right now. Can they capitalize on the situation? Dangal himself is just hiding out at pit. The CTs still have 3 men over at B. Now Warlord begins to rotate towards the A site, making his way into library. And Kenpachi gets picked off over at the outside by Hevan. Hevan knows that the rotation is coming in. He almost picks off Warlord, but Dangal Hoga equalizes that frag from the pit. Roxy making his way here. Doesn't manage just to pick off Jihad John. And 9-4 in favor of Team Extreme. Team Maddox team still having managed to get in more rounds than Team Sid did yesterday, and they still have a fair chance of doing so. The rifles again coming out from Team Maddox. I think they're going for the full force buy. Warlord on the op again. Kenpachi armor and M4, no utilities whatsoever, which is not the best decision for him to make. He could have easily asked for a drop from Warlord or Jihad John, who have a ton of money in the bank, but no, he elects to just keep his mouth shut, and that's not the best thing you want to do. Big shooter. Fail smoke coming out from the B side guy every single round, and they're still not able to take advantage of this on the T side. Slowly they see that one smoke. I don't understand why they're being so impatient about the situation. The moment they get shut off by a smoke, it's they've been confronted by a brick wall. They don't want to push that situation further. Why? Because there's a smoke right in their face. But I guess they're making the right decision, as there are 3 people right now stacked all the way up the B side. They expected the eco round B push. Now reading the situation right, they know that it's just 2 people at A. Mom get the camera, immediately picking off Dangaloga has been creating such a problem for them. Warlord picking off one off from Library, who elected to go towards the arch. Not a wise move to make. They know that Warlord has been opping and opping very well, getting the apartment plant down. Rubik Shooter should make his way up in the apartment now. If he can spot out Jihad John, he spots him out. Can he get this frag? Yes, he manages to do so, and gets Kenpachi down to extremely low HP. Roxy's prediction finishes that kill off for him. And only Warlord left with that op in the library area and just 15 HP. And no dream for him. He's just going to make the wise choice and save his weapon. It's not like they cannot afford an op for themselves even if Warlord does lose his weapon, but they know that the T-side economy is too weak to afford an op at this stage, and they just don't want to give them the advantage of having that weapon, as Bogeyman and Hairban and Rubik Shooter both can be all three of them can be very impactful players with that op. So 9-5, again managing to salvage out one more round, Team Maddox. This is going to be an extremely tough game for Team Extreme if they manage to give that 6th round to Team Maddox right now. Obviously the full buy coming out, the last round of the half. Full utility is coming out on the T side, and Kenpachi still keeping his mouth shut and not asking Jihad John for a drop when he could have, and not able to afford any utilities except a smoke. Extreme with a flash and a Molotov for himself. No smoke again coming out from him. Smoke is just such an increasingly important utility for the CTs to use, and it seems like the Ts have scampered away every time the CTs have used a smoke. It's almost like I mentioned, it's like they put a brick wall right in front of them. The CT smoke coming out, and Bogeyman and Mom get the camera making their way. Warlord immediately mauling that off and picking off Bogeyman, knowing that he will find his way above the Molotov, and Mom get the camera, picking him off and picking off Warlord the Opera himself. But Extreme, the team captain, immediately salvages the situation, makes that a 3v2, but barely any HP left on Extreme. So Tangaloga has made his way up into construction, and have they noticed him coming yet? They now might have the information. And immediately Mom get the camera, picks off the construction guy, and Kenpachi seems to still not have realized that the bomb's been planted at B. And now he makes his way all the way. A precious 10 to 15 seconds have just gone in Kenpachi's rotation. Extreme still checking every single angle. He's at 5 HP. He knows that Kenpachi is not the best shooter on his team. He has to make something happen himself. Flashes out Mom get the camera completely. Mom get the camera has held out that angle. He spotted out Mom get the camera. He's gonna nade that angle. Mom get the camera. Falls to that nade. But I doubt Extreme will be able to defuse this bomb. Can he do it? No. It seems to be a 9-6 in favor of Team Extreme. But too many rounds given on the for the T's. I think Maddox will be extremely happy that he can work. He has 6 rounds on the T side to work with for the CT side. He's got a couple of very strong pistol players on his team. Him himself being extremely good and extremely impactful on the USP. Bomb Get the Camera has his days, but he's an extremely good shooter as well. Rubik Shooter is a really good pistol player, so is Bogeyman. Roxy is like... Roxy can be decent, it depends on how his day is going, but he seems to somehow always get those headshots with the P2K when he just fires like a machine gun. And Roxy, again, Hevan may have told him, or Maddox, sorry, may have just told him that, you know what, just go for the smoking kit, help your team, be the guy who gets the utility, be the support player. And Roxy agrees to do so. So now, Extreme with relying on his team's raw shooting to maybe make good of the situation. And Bogey immediately hears them all the way out at second mid. And he's all the way up in arch, he can get sound from both areas. He hears the guy all the way up in house. He hears Extreme's making a lot of noise here, but they've got 3 members of the T still camping the T-base area. Warlord with the Deagle. They know after yesterday that Warlord is gonna Deagle on the pistol round. And Jihad John. Kenpachi is all the way in T-side apps. I don't know what kind of push he is watching when Extreme is all the way up in the apartment side towards the A site. Extreme pre-firing his angle, spots out Bogeyman. He knows there's one here. Hevan manages to get one, so does he manages to get Warlord and Jihad John, and Dangal and Extreme themselves managing to get 2 picks out of the A side. Kenpachi shooting, come on, don't choke, and he drops the bomb down out at mid, and is now down to a 2v1 with Dangal on barely any HP. Can he do this? Bomb Get the Camera. Slight bit of a choke right there, and Team Maddox managing to scrape that pistol round, which means this should technically be 2 more rounds in their favor, equalizing this to a 9-9. But with us at C4 Gaming, you never really know. There's always a chance for them to come back this round. Oh, sorry about that. Because we're not that good at our force buys, we're not that good in the anti-ecos. It's a legend here. Win the pistol, lose the anti-eco. CT is going for that boiler stack. It is all 4 of them making their way up towards banana, maybe possibly going for that pop flash to peek. And the CTs are all the way at the back. Headman is picking a really close angle. If he gets flashed and picked right here, he might be game over for him. He hears it, he knows they're here. Maddox going for that pop flash, and he managed to get one. And can he get the second? No, he manages to, and he falls. And like I said, anti-ecos are never our strong suit, guys. Rubik Shooter gets one, but falls down to Extreme over at the construction. They spot out one at try box. Roxy making his way up construction, and he gets it. He gets Extreme. Still down to a 2v2. They know one is at try box. They know one is in banana, but Bogeyman having fallen down, this might be a bit. He gets down and he gets him down. Kenpachi down so low. Picks off Kenpachi. Is he going to go for a full don't fake defuse? Oh my goodness! Goes to 15 HP. He goes down to 15 HP, and again Maddox kind of frustrated with his teammates because he's again pointing out the fact that the bomb was not planted for the banana guy. He could have just easily gone for the defuse and waited for the banana guy to peek, but Roxy instead going to pick off that fight. It was a very bad move, and some kind of luck managed to salvage that round for the T's. 10-7 in favor of Team Extreme. The CT is now going out on that force buy, so we might just see another 10-8 coming out for Team Maddox. I'll get the camera. There seems to be an interesting flash if you've got someone playing up ahead with you, which they do. They do seem to have taken that control with Hevan hiding out over a trump. Obviously they know there are no ops yet. He's not afraid of the spam. And he doesn't get that flash and he immediately falls. The angle is too close. And won't get the camera's PC having hung or some such. And again, a bit of a technical issue. One of the CDs has had their PCs shut down. Won't get the camera, almost knifing out Kenpachi. And this is just a bit of a rollover round for the T's. 5 members alive. Maybe Boogie might be able to get a few exits here, salvage an UMP or something. Gets in the fight without Dangal Hoga, loses the Tech 9 V57 battle. And the last member hiding all the way over at T-Apps. He saves his armor, he saves his 5.7. It all depends on what he can do on this round. It's gonna be a bit of a long pause coming out. Maybe it seems a bit of a false alarm. Hard eco coming out now from Team Maddox. Roxy having saved that 5-7, dropping 1 or 2 P250s for his teammates. They're going for the 4-man banana stack because they know the T's might just want to brute force their way up in banana, knowing that it's an eco. Hopefully Extreme might have a read on the situation. Decides to clear out the A side for himself. They're still holding that very passive default though. I should realize by now that the CTs are on a complete eco. Hevan himself just being really passive out in the apps. They know that someone's out here on banana. Can they trade that frag out? Yes, they managed to do, and they finally realize that it's an eco round. Dangal being the Sherlock Holmes of his team and saying eco hai. Yes, of course it's an eco, my friend. They lost the anti-eco and they forced on the next round. They have to be eco this round, guys. Come on. Don't need the brains of an Einstein. Extreme getting the big down 46 HP. And can he continue that spray? No, he doesn't. Rubik managing to get that AK for himself. And Hevan almost gets that frag on the guy in graveyard. And Rubik closes it out for himself. Oh, this is a 1v2 situation, guys. But one guy's making his way out from Arch. He knows it's an A plant. Rubik going in for the save. I don't think Jihad John heard him. No, he did. He has heard him. He knows that Rubik is going in for the save. Kenpachi knows, and still taking the precaution of being on the A site, knowing that he can come from anywhere. Rubik just playing it really safe, going all the way into T-spawn. Kenpachi really should have the sense to realize that it's a save, and yes, he will take that corner out in pit where he doesn't die, but he's gonna lose 43 armor in the process, which is not really good. That's again a $650 investment for him to get his armor all the way back up. But he could have just run away from the site and managed to save himself those $650 and maybe could later on have helped his team get a lot of utility. But he still does have 5,000 in the bank. The AWP coming out onto Warlord. I'm sorry, I had a bit of a burp there. Dangal Hoga on 23 frags, really making an impact for his team this game. And Extreme himself picks off Hevan. Mom get the camera, picking off Extreme, falling back, smoking off that banana angle, immediately waiting for that counter push. The T's again not capitalizing on the situation, assuming that the rotation will come in a little too fast, but no, it's not that fast, my friend. You could have just cleared out the B side. But anyway, Kenpachi again and Jihad Joan again blocked off by that wall of smoke. Dangal Hoga getting that apartment side control. Boogeyman watching both A shot and the apartment angle. It's going to be very dicey if he gets caught off on the wrong timing. Roxy watching the banana. He knows there's a flash that has come out. The two over at the B side, two over in the A. Smoke off the mid left. It's a very, very bad smoke. It's a very bad smoke, guys. We've still smoked off mid right, so it shouldn't be a bit of a problem. They flash down that side, and immediately Mom gets the camera, gets that pick off onto Jihad. John Roxy making his way over to the A side. They know something's up. Kenpachi has the bomb here with him, and yes, he manages to get the frag onto Roxy and try to make his way up at A. I don't know what Dangal is looking at, because Kenpachi just cut off that one rotation out there. All three team members managing now make the right decision. They know that Mom get the camera is low over at the B site. Now it depends on them if they decide to check this angle over at Banana or if they expect him there. Mom get the camera, knows he spots it out, but Warlord immediately spotting that cheeky pick, that cheeky angle from Mom get the camera, and immediately shuts him down. YouTube Bogeyman Gaming making his way up at the construction. Warlord has been told that both of them are at CT, and you know there's one at the construction. And Bogeyman manages to get that frag off onto Abdangal Hoga. They know he gets the frag onto the banana guy. Will they spot the guy out hiding in the... Oh, they do. They still manage to do so, and Kenpachi closes the round. Rubik doesn't choose to get up and help his teammate trade. He still would have lost just 2 seconds on that defuse. He would have been able to get that defuse in, but Rubik electing to hold on to that defuse and trusting his teammate a bit too much. CT is now forced onto a pure pistol eco armor coming out on just Bogeyman and Hevan. Has Hevan though? No, Hevan still has 2,700 in the tank. I thought this might be a force buy for him. Kenpachi spotting out members. Roxy having a bit of a technical issue right there. And Abdangal Hoga might just catch him off guard. No. He is back. Roxy's back. This is so close, guys. This is so close, but even with that kind of crosshair placement, Roxy still manages to save an AK for himself. Dangal Hoga calling out Sar pe khaya hai, but I don't understand how Sar pe kha ke he lost just 35 HP. Extreme getting tipped over. Jihad John trying to trade that frag for him, and immediately Mom get the camera, manages to get that frag by making an aggressive push. They smoke off CT, they smoke off construction. The rotation's being pulled over towards the B site, but I don't think they realize, yes, Patty is all the way out at mid, out in the open, saying, come get me guys, I got no armor but I got an AK and a dream, and that dream shatters. And Maddox getting a bit frustrated with his teammate Rubik right there. Warlord holding off that angle at Arch, and he should be able to miss the easy shot. And Rubik still taking that deagle fight, but manages to fall. Kenpachi hiding all the way over at site, being the last resort, letting his teammates do the dirty work. Probably being told by Extreme, don't you dare bloody peek that angle out. If you do, just take the bomb, plant it when we tell you, and don't do anything else. Don't go looking for frags, don't try to be a hero. Roxy not being... that entire round was on Roxy to have capitalized with that AK, but he was just too much out in the open with that AK, and Warlord immediately getting that pick off onto Hevan, but Bogeyman has taken the pick off onto Extreme. They're still rushing that mid angle, and Kenpachi rushes him down at Arch. Rubik shooter now again, they're falling like a stack of 9 pins, guys. Extreme with his classic rush tactics, and Roxy all the way over at Apps manages to get 2 for himself. Now it's still a 2v1 situation. They know he's at mid, they know he is at mid, they have spotted him out somewhere. And Mom get the camera, they know where he is, he knows where he is. Both of them know each other's position. And Mom get the camera with that lovely clutch right there, falling down to 7 HP. And Dangal Hoga making again the wrong decision when his teammate has been calling out mid. He still goes for that apartment side plant. His teammate falls while trying to give him cover, and that's how they lost this kind of a round. The T's still have a decent economy to go with. They can still afford a buy on this round, but if the CTs lose this round, it is game over, guys. It should technically be game over. Again, like I say, with C4 Gaming, anything is possible. Kids coming out on 4 members of the CTs, and very little utility coming out from Rubik's Shooter. Just that one decoy and a kit, and taking a damage from a nade pretty early on in the game. Already down at 64 HP, but doesn't really matter since an AK is a one-shot headshot anyway. But it's not like our aims are on our heads anyway. We love aiming everywhere except the head. Head's a difficult place to hit, guys. You gotta understand. It's got a really small hitbox on YouTube. Bogeyman Gaming gets dinked by Extreme, who had that. Who probably tagged him through the wall, but immediately falls down. Or it doesn't matter if you're 1 HP or 100, guys. Whether you're on the receiving end or on the firing end, guys, the AWP is just a one-shot kill. It doesn't matter what your HP is, you can still have a chance to make it happen. Dangal Hoga, the rotation being pulled over all the way to the A side. They know something's up, and they go for the double peek out onto the A side. And Warlord picks off Bogeyman out at Library, who was not covering his teammate, not covering the angle out over at mid. Evan picking up the AK. Now it's down to a 2v3 situation. Warlord is watching the banana rotation. Now it's a 2v2. It's a 1v2 actually. Now with Hevan turning into toast. Mom, get the camera. Can he clutch this round out again? He's made this a 1v2, and Warlord, I don't know what he's looking at. Probably looking out for the mid guy who was on the rotation. The CT economy completely shattered right here. Managing to salvage whatever they can. But guys, there's still always a chance. There's still always a chance. Team City yesterday made an amazing comeback on the CD side, just losing to a fair bit of luck for Team Extreme. But Team Extreme today is saying that, okay, we're gonna have none of that. We're not gonna win based on luck today. We're gonna win based on our ability to out-aim you guys. And Maddox immediately getting that pick with getting 2 picks with that CZ. He's so good with that weapon. And his teammate immediately coming to covering out for him. And Mom get the camera, gets that pick off. I don't understand, guys. This seems just really silly. You're rushing banana close range angles. You know the CDs have just pistols with them, and when they're stronger with the pistols on the close range angles, you do not want to push them out. Rubik getting a lovely shot onto Dangal in the meantime, and immediately he falls, but Roxy equalizes that frag. 15-9, guys. Still hope, still dream. And now this time it's the T side economy which is in a bit of trouble. Very bad move coming out from the T's, rushing bananas, rushing into those close range spots when you know that the CTs have a decisive advantage at being pistols over rifles. And losing a fair bit of guns, even their AWPs and their AKs. The CTs having salvaged Bogeyman, taking a ton of damage right in the start, maybe must have been AWPing all the way over at banana. Hevan, though, steps up his game. But Extreme says, I'm gonna have none of that. Boogeyman's all the way out. Boogeyman knows, and they've taken the control of the B side. It's a 2v3 situation, but now the AWP is in the hands of one of the most dangerous players, Extreme, but he gets blocked off by his teammate, drops the bomb and the AWP in the process. Warlord has taken over that AWP. He's gonna take that a cheeky angle over, cutting off people off at banana, and he picks off Rubik's Shooter immediately. Can he get the second one? No, he manages to miss that shot. He still tags Rogsday down to 17 HP, gets the pick on Rogsday, and Hevan picking him off at 24 HP. And Hevan electing not to pick up that AWP for his teammate. Must have probably decided that, nope, I'm sorry Bogey, you're not having too much impact on that AWP. I'd rather you stick to assaulting, play it safe, play it smart. Rogsday going for the UMP, Mom get the camera going for the P90. Oh my goodness, yeah, it's been a while since we saw the P90. Yesterday it was being used by the legendary Shubh Jain. Kenpachi, that's what you gotta love about Kenpachi. He may not have the best shooting, but he still won't resort to using... I mean, I don't even understand why the gay gun is called the gay gun. The P90 should be the real gay gun, guys. I mean, I'm one to talk because I used to use that gun a lot at one point, but still, I learned at some point. Rifles coming out on the T's. Mom, get the camera going for that CT stack with the P90. I guess it could work because it's still a very close range angle, the sight entrance and CT, but Extreme immediately picking out rogues. This is not looking good. They give the apartment control. Hevan takes Extreme out, takes out Jihad John, taking out Hevan. Jihad John taking out Rubik's Shooter. A side control having gone over to the T's. All 5 men stacked down. Warlord falls down to that long range P90 tap by Mom Get the Camera. Guess that requires a fair bit of talent as well. They've got one guy in pit, one guy in graveyard. He's completely screwed if he tries to make his way up from shore. 2 guys in graveyard actually. All 3 of them, they managed to give their position, and YouTube Pokemon not able to salvage the round. Kenpachi finishes him off, and 16 to 10, first map going in favor of Team Extreme. This was the pick of Team Maddox after all, and Team Maddox manages to lose their own map pick. Team Extreme is going to be extremely strong on train. And now this, you never know, guys, but this might just be a one-side 2-0 unless Team Maddox really decides to come back. Anyways, this was fun, guys. See you guys for the next game. We're going to take a short 5-minute break. guys, welcome back. Second map, train with Team Hevan, this time electing to pick the CT side. Again, Rogsdi switching out to the USB this time instead of the P2K. Again, getting that smoke in the kit. Rubik Shooter, Mom get the camera with a decoy and armor. Kenpachi buying the decoy, he doesn't see any sense in saving those $50. Those $50 can probably save your life at times, you know. When you've got an AWP and you've got 4700 instead of 4750, you know the pain of not being able to afford that AWP for your team. And going in live, a decoy being thrown all the way over at Ali. Okay, that is, you can say, is a bit of smart usage. They're going directly for that hardcore mid push, such an all the way, extreme all the way over at Olaf. Spots one out at Carrigan. Doesn't want the second one out. He thinks it's the same Ali guy. He doesn't realize there are two. They immediately get control over at the site. Very passive gameplay coming out from Team Maddox, but Hevan immediately gets one frag, two frags, and it is a 1v4 situation already. And Hevan coming out massive on that round. T still managing to secure that plant, which means that they will have a buy on the third round if they completely equal this round, or maybe Team Extreme with their rush tactics might just decide to force the SMG buy on this round, completely overwhelm them, maybe go for a standard inner rush with one smoke, maybe a Molotov. And no, Team Extreme going for the hard eco, just maybe P250 is coming out. There weren't many frags taken, so again, not too much of an economy to rely on. Kenpachi with that Deagle, reducing his economy down to 1900, may not be able to afford much this time. Rogsdi with that Molotov was too early, man. Who do you think is going to reach there in that time? And Bogeyman already getting a pick off. Jihad John gets a pick off onto Bogeyman, already out at SL. Hevan and Rubik Shooter playing all the way back from Ali, using the range to their advantage against the pistols. And again, losing one member only in the name of Bogeyman. The CTs managed to take that round 2-0. Might just see a turnover coming back because Team Maddox did win the round, did win the pistol round in Inferno and manages to close the successive 2 rounds. But then to no avail, they ended up still losing that map. There's always scope, there's always hope, guys. Let's not rush to conclusions. Bogeyman making his way all over at the brown train, doesn't spot the guy, maybe because of his resolution, he doesn't spot the guy, and he made all his way back over its site. And picks off Jihad John immediately. Hevan picks off the site guy. Extreme having picked off Monk with the camera, but Rubik should have picked off Kenpachi back in return. Warlord falling down to Bogeyman again, and Extreme has picked up that M4 and now decides, they know he was over at Connector, they know he was last spotted at Connector. Very wisely, Rogsdi chasing CT, but he's already crossed all the way over to Old Bomb. And he might just be able to drop a few more guns here. He drops off Bogeyman. They're not sure from where because they call out Connector. The call out comes out to Connector. Extreme knows there's one guy behind him. Drops out Old Bomb. And Rogsdi immediately securing that frag. 2 people falling down this time. Bit of an upgrade from the last 2 rounds. But on a hard eco, that seems to be well worthwhile to get those 2 frags. For Extreme, who has now got the AWP in his hands, maybe might elect. He knows that 2 guys are playing all the way over at Ali. They're watching teammate from Ali. They're watching Ali from Ali, of course. He might just be able to get those picks right off the bat at the start of the round. Bogeyman coming in with that Molotov out at team mid. Extreme spots out camera immediately. Rubik Shooter goes in for that Ali rush, but immediately gets picked off, and Hevan equalizes with him by rushing with him and reducing the situation down to a 3v4 already. Maddox this time, Hevan not wanting to have any of that nonsense, and deciding not to play the passive CT side. He's made his way up to Carrigan now. Won't get the camera, taking that really passive angle back by Spools. Hevan gets another pick off. They spot, YouTube spots out, Bogeyman spots out one out at Electric Box, gets the pick. They know that another guy is at SL, And Kenpachi picks off Hevan out from SL, but the bomb's dropped all the way over at ground train, and there's nothing much he can really do. And Monga the camera rushes up inner from SL and gets the pick on the Kenpachi. 4-0 in favor for Team Maddox. This is looking really good for them. Probably playing with a lot of frustration and vengeance this round. Hevan going for that UMP. He knows this time they're gonna invest in pistols and no armor. We still see an armor investment coming out from Dangal and Jihad. John Dangal's economy are at 1600, which makes it very dicey for him. Roxy, don't use that right now, my friend. Oh, but I guess it's alright. It was a little too preemptive, in my opinion. But now Team Extreme making their way up onto the inner ramp. Roxy using the smoke. Maybe Monk at the camera is called out that yes, okay, there's sound here, and he picks off Kenpachi immediately. Kenpachi immediately giving the call outs to his team. Rubik knows that there's something fishy right here. He doesn't just leave the site, but maybe he just might be a question of bad timing. And Rubik spots him out. Rubik knows there's something up here. Immediately gets dinked down. Extreme doesn't have the armor on him, though he still manages to close out that one frag. Picks out the rifle for himself and makes his way all the way up onto the ladder. And but Hevan catches him out. Maybe might just be able to secure that M4 from the top of ladder, but maybe may not have enough time. No, he doesn't have the time. Doesn't manage to secure the gun. Hevan still keeps that UMP with him. He might elect to... No, this time he gives the UMP over to Bogeyman and takes the AWP for himself. Rubik and Hevan watching that alley and mid angle respectively. And Rubik flashing out alley, faking that alley push, and Bogeyman watching possibly the worst long range angle with that UMP. He suspects maybe that Extreme has made his way up over into Olaf already, but doesn't quite go for it. Bogeyman immediately gets smoked off. Extreme making his way over. Bogey's gonna hear him, of course, but there's no way he can possibly respond to the situation. And Extreme immediately picks off Rubik with his pants down. The call out not coming from Bogeyman. Extreme picks off Bogeyman as well. Hevan picking or managing to pick off Dangal Hoga from the connector area. It all depends on the wall load. The smoke immediately. Roxy picks off Extreme as well. Extreme probably suspecting the AWP to come out from that angle, and Waldorf using his smoke, switching up his gun, planting that bomb down for SL. But if Roxy catches, Roxy doesn't manage to catch him off guard. But lovely reaction there from Warlord to pick him off immediately out of camera. 1v2 situation with an AWP in the hands of Hevan. Can possibly do this. Mom get the camera, drops down to SL. They've lost that SL control, and the plant is for SL at the end of the day. It's not even an SL alley plant. Kenpachi picks off Mom get the camera out from the electric box, and Hevan has made him really low. Kenpachi falls to the grenade, and easy defuse for Hevan. Lovely display of sense over there. He knows the amount of damage he has dealt with that M4 to Kenpachi, and that nade just sweetens the deal for him right there. Still salvages Warlord's AWP off the site, which was the good. Wow. Rip English, guys. I am really sorry. You see the full buy investment 6-0 already in favor of Maddox. Extreme not being able to salvage even one round of this, and this is Team Extreme's pick, by the way. But you never know, they might still pull off an excellent hold on the T side. Hevan going for the team and Molly holding off the angle at connector. Mom get the camera playing all the way inner from the side train itself, watching that upper lower angle. Rubik Shooter holding the alley. Boogeyman on top of the train, trying to see if he can get that really cheeky pick out to whoever's holding mid. Maybe give the info to his captain that there's something up, something's coming. Smoke coming out over a team mid, but that's a little too deep to do anything. Dangal immediately gets picked off, not noticing that angle. YouTube spotting out one more guy over at SL. Mom get the camera, picking off Extreme immediately, and Bogeyman picking off Kenpachi as well, with Hevan picking off Jihad John all the way over at SL, who decides to peek out and say hello. And Roxy, where are you going, Roxy? And Warlord has played this so safe. Mom get the camera, secures the frag. Thankfully not relying on Roxy's information that inner is clear, because Roxy didn't check his angles. He didn't clear the entirety of highway. It would have come as a massive surprise to Mon get the camera. He would have been like, what the hell, man? This almost could have been at least the bomb plant for Team Extreme, but they don't even manage to get that. Tech 9 armor coming out. The loss bonus has already stacked up to its maximum. Now they're finally using his Molotov with the right timing. They're going for that lower smoke, lower flash, and possibly a lower rush. Up Dangal Hoga blocking out Extreme's flash. Roxy just firing into the smoke. Up Dangal Hoga taking a massive amount of damage to the Jihad John. Trying to just look for that plant right there. And they managed to probably secure it. And Extreme manages to pick off one more, but Roxy gets up Dangal Hoga in the process. They don't spot the guy out at the spools and highway over the oil rig. Hevan picks off Kenpachi with the USP. He's so good with that weapon. Hevan with the USP again. Warlord has that Tech 9 but is not able to do much with it after the bullets in his AK go down. Immediately gets picked off. Two guns falling down on the CD side, but at this point it probably doesn't matter to them. They've got 16,000 on Hevan, 10,000 on Bogeyman, and they had 10,000 on Roxy, now gone down to 5 because he's going to invest in a full buy. Mon get the camera, being the only possible. He's being the only one with the least economy here. Again, full buy coming out from Team Extreme. Let's see, hopefully this time, if he can get a few picks off with that weapon. And he immediately manages to get Bogey, who just peeks out and says hello, and Extreme says hi back. We've got just Hevan holding onto the A site. Smokes off SL, they smoke off the angle, they smoke off the crossing the ladder. Maddox makes his way all the way up into heaven. Mon get the camera holding the inner sight alone by himself while Roxy rotates all the way out into connector. Though his angle spotting seems a little sketchy to me. Warlord's made his way ahead up in alley. Rubik's called off that he's been smoked off. And Hevan manages to pick off the offer on their team. Rubik Shooter, Warlord not checking his angle. Rubik Shooter getting 2 picks. Hevan getting 1 more with Kenpachi. Jihad John picks off a guy at SL but being reduced down to 16 HP. Hevan picks off Jihad John as well. That Heaven angle working in the favor of Hevan, who just catches everyone off guard. Team Extreme right now playing in complete frustration, not using their mind much, not using their sense much, but it can happen, guys. It happens to the best of us. We completely lose our senses when we've got we're not professional teams where we can completely maintain our composure on every single round. It happens. Up Dangal Hoga completely having literally 0 impact this game, being a free frag for all 9 rounds, and everyone on the T side has died for all the 9 rounds, even though 3 of the rounds are won by defuse. And again, Hevan being devastating on that option connector. Warlord not noticing Bogeyman on top of the train. Okay guys, this just might seem like we get to see cash after all, maybe. 9-0 already, this looks like a 10-0. Come on, Up Dangal Hoga, this might be your chance to get just 1 frag in this game. Don't go down at 0, man. It's not gonna look good. Might just get, yes, he does get Roxy off guard. Come on, man. Okay, fine. It's all good, Dangal. You've got your 1 frag in this game. Now, whatever people say, well, you didn't die at 0, man. 110 for Warlord, 110 for Dangal. The people who've had the most impact on Inferno just seem to be falling like 9 pins in train, with Hevan completely being dominant over on the CT side, with his AWP, with the call outs, with the rushes at the right time. Warlord again giving that connector smoke, which should pop right over in connector, maybe cutting off Hevan's angle there. Extreme watching that mid Carrigan angle. They know that there's been one guy playing. Bogeyman's been playing above the trains constantly. He's been taking the high ground. I hope they can spot him out. But Bogeyman immediately picks off Warlord, and Rubik Shooter picks off Kenpachi, looking completely in the wrong direction. Jihad John manages to get a frag onto Bogeyman, but it's now to just the two of them, and the two are extremely good shooters on their team. Jihad, where are you looking, man? Rubik Shooter picking off Jihad John from Ali, and it's all up to Extreme. Now the bomb's dropped all the way out at Carrigan, and Extreme probably looking out for that B-side push all the way over from bathrooms, but it ain't coming, men. Might just be able to catch Rubik here off guard if Rubik isn't careful. Got one guy looking above SL, and Extreme using his timing to the maximum. None of the series that have sight of the bomb, line of sight of the bomb, and Rubik gets picked off immediately. And he spots out one guy at Heaven, but Roxy manages to finish him off from SL. He's watching that angle correctly. 11-0 in favor of Team Maddox. Guys, this might just be a landslide. Extreme, Team Extreme, come on guys. Y'all can really do this. I just hope everyone doesn't get fried right now. Extreme making his way up by his lonesome into Olaf and Carrigan, sending his team all the way out in alley. Kenpachi pushing alone, bad decision to make, but he manages to still pick off Rubik Shooter. Now that pulls off Bogey's attention to alley. They know that Bogey's on top of the train. He gets picked off immediately. He's been playing the same position here, one opping all the way from connector, looking towards that angle, looking towards the right angle. They've managed to get a plan in the smoke. It's a plan for SL and alley. They have complete control over the situation. Mom get the camera, making his way over to team mid, taking the long rotation. Kenpachi watching from underneath Heaven. They know there is an opper at connector. They suspect there might be one at alley, and the alley guy gets picked off immediately by Warlord. Kenpachi picking off the opper himself, and Mom get the camera, falls down at teammate to Jihad John. The first round coming out for Team Extreme, guys. Let's hear it. The game's not over yet. 11-4 half can still be workable over on the CD side. It all depends on them now, but if Team Extreme loses this round, it will be devastating for them. Maybe Maddox is gonna tell his teammates, you know, Maddox is gonna say, that was my plan all along, you know guys, I'm gonna let them win one round, I'm gonna reset their economy, but I guess it doesn't seem like it. Hevan falls down to Extreme, and the rivalry is alive. Bogeyman picks off Kenpachi at alley with the AWP. Bogeyman falls down to Warlord with that AWP. Rubik Shooter having dropped down and not being able to give any info to his teammate. He has smoked off Ali, but Abdangaloga has already made his way inside. Maybe he might be able to catch. And Extreme tagging Kenpachi, not realizing Roxy's predictions is on the site. It's now a 2v2 situation. Jihad John, Mom get the camera, comes down from SL. And they know that Mom get the camera is all the way over at team mid, and Extreme missing the unzoom shot, and Roxy immediately closing that round. Guys, Team Maddox has literally shattered the D-side economy, and now you can just hope for the best and hope that your pistols are good enough, Team Extreme, because this already looks like a 13-2 if not a 14-1 half to me. They're already mauling their way off into alley. Extreme smoking off the area between the green and the grey trains. He knows that there's something here. Immediately picks off Hevan, trying to look for that cheeky mid push and trying to backstab the backstabbers. But the rest of the team has made their way into lower already.
picking off both the lower players, both the inner players. They get the plant off onto inner, and Extreme already has the op with himself. 4 rifles being salvaged already for Team Extreme. Dangal Hoga trying to look. The CTs though have, if they manage to drop these guns, they might force the CTs into a pistol armor. They might just have a full buy. No, they still might be able to salvage a buy for the next round, but it is crucial that the T's really try and drop these guns, because if they don't, Dangal Hoga has spotted Rubik Shooter. Takes the white peak, but still falls down to Rubik Shooter. Rubik Shooter not having any of that rubbish. And Boogeyman catches off Kenpachi, which is still a really good round for Team Extreme, having managed to drop 3 guns. But it's a little too late, guys. Like I said, okay, they proved me wrong. Team Extreme proved me wrong. Made a very certain 13-2 now a very possible 12-3. 3 rounds, guys, might still just work out in favor of Team Extreme, might still just not be a problem. Rubik Shooter going for an aggressive alley peak, because yes, they have the rounds now, they've got the confidence, and Team Extreme electing to push all the way up inner. Rubik Shooter may have given the info to his team that yes, there's no one out in alley, maybe I can backstab. Warlord has made his way up in alley. Hevan immediately picks off Extreme, trying to go all the way up on top of the train. Boogeyman picks off Warlord, who manages to get the frag onto Hevan. Dangal Hoga being really passive out in SL. I think their confidence is really not in the best state right now. Boogeyman spots him through the smoke, picks off Jihad John and picks off Kenpachi, ending this into a 13-2 after all. 13-2 to Team Maddox, guys. If they win the pistol, they can tentatively win the game. And our dear admin deciding to forget to pause the game. Yeah, everyone's just like pause, and the pause comes in. Sorry guys, I got a really bad cough. Team Hevan, Team Maddox can probably just go in for the YOLO in a rush, because they know that probably they're going to place Dangal Hoga and Kenpachi up in inner, unless Extreme comes up with some really outlandish call to maybe have all 5 rush Avi, or have all 5 rush Team Mid, or maybe 4 guys rush all the way up inner, try to get the frags, and he lurks all the way in the outer, trying to salvage as many frags as he can on the CT side, and maybe they go for a backstab push onto the outer side should they manage to take the outer side. Team Hevan though, well, Hevan getting the Tech 9 drop from Boogeyman, and Rubik Shooter getting the Tech 9 drop from Rogs. They have got 2 smokes to work with. They've got 1 raid boss as Hevan, and Hevan hasn't invested in any armor. It seems very funny. Rubik Shooter kills Kenpachi, and Team Maddox completely shatters them. And but Dangal Hoga manages to get the bomb dropped all the way over at alley. Oh Jesus, what is happening right there? It's all the way down to 10 HP though, but this is still a very workable situation. Extreme gets the captain himself, leaving this now in a 1v2 situation. 2 guys inner, and Extreme has made his way up towards Ivy. Both of them now correctly holding the right angles, or maybe not, and Extreme takes the Tech 9 for himself. Keeping that crossfire, yes. Now you both are watching the right things, guys. And Rogsdy is unfortunately going to walk right into this. They know he's right there, and there is no way in hell, but he manages to get that 1 kill with the Tech 9. Can he get the second? No, he doesn't. He chokes at the last second. And 13-3 to Team Extreme. But Team Maddox still having a chance in this game, unless Team Extreme manages to smartly play the range game. No, they decide to go for all 5 SMGs and face off against the pistols and armor force by coming out from Team Maddox, with Rubik Shooter having the Mac 10, sorry, not the MP, the Mac 10 buy on him. And they go for the inner rush. They want to take those close range angles, they want to take those close range fights, force the fights out of close range. Rubik manages to get out Jihal John immediately, not looking very good from Team Maddox. They spot the guy out at connector. Roxy knows that there's one here, picks off Dangal immediately, but the connector guy backstabs him and kills him out. Now making his way all over at oil rig. Rubik has made a very cheeky push all the way over at CT. Now it's not the time to cut rotations, Rubik, but Hevan still manages to finish off Extreme, and Team Extreme knows that they've spoiled the last guy out, who's at 1 HP. Kenpachi still manages to get the frag on Mom, get the camera out at 1 HP, but not enough, as Team Maddox now secures the round on the T side, making it a 14-3, shattering the CT economy now completely. The CTs have literally nothing to work with. They will have to force buy for the next 2 rounds. They really should have gone for possibly the FAMAS buy on winning the first round. They still elect to go for the SMGs. Because it doesn't matter if you don't have utility, you do not want to be playing close range and take the risk at this stage. And Roxy has called out very early that they're going for the SL push, and they're going for the mid push. Roxy picks off Kenpachi, Bogeyman picks off Warlord, and Dangalova dropping down, Hevan dropping down, Hevan killing off Jihad John Mom, get the camera, killing off Extreme. A really clean round coming out. Team Maddox not losing a single member off, and they know that they're facing off just pistols again. They're just gonna elect to keep those SMGs with only the AK coming out on Rubik Shooter. Excuse me. We got Warlord and Extreme. Now Warlord. Extreme switches places. They're playing for the 3 inner. And Kenpachi is again gets caught completely with his pants down. And he's called out that there's everyone in alley, but as always he doesn't count the fact that Maddox might be making his way up in mid, but it doesn't make a difference at this point. They've already secured the plan out and lower. Warlord gets the frag on a Bogeyman, but this is right now just maybe a consolation. And Roxy getting the kill on Extreme, and the game being cleaned out by Team Maddox. So Extreme winning the pick of Team Maddox, and Maddox winning the pick of Team Extreme. It's an extremely good reply. 16-3, guys. 16-3. Completely smashing all the dreams of Team Extreme. Now we're still gonna have Cash as the final map. You're going to see the knife to decide the sides. And yes, now this is getting intense, guys, and this should be really fun. Both teams really adept at this map. A slight advantage in the favor of Team Maddox because Maddox and Bogeyman are both part of C4 Gaming. They know the executions and they know everything. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a short 5-minute break again. I will see you back for Cash.
मैं स्क्रीनशॉट ले
think it's a beautiful batting surface. What? Start kiya? Start I think the team which has the best composure going to win the Okay guys, welcome back. We're on to third and final map, which is cache. Just let me figure out my configuration. Okay, just waiting to go live. We're gonna start with the knife round since this was the last map left over after the veto. Waiting on our organizer, Mr. Gunner, to call out the live, and we begin with the knife round. Whoever wins this knife, it's going to be extremely decisive, and you should elect. If Team Extreme wins the knife, they might probably elect to play the CT side because they've got very good holes, but I would suggest they pick the T side since Team Maddox has a slight bit of advantage, having two players who know how to execute sites very well, knowing the correct smokes, the correct flashes, and knife round coming in. Dangal Hoga immediately falls down to Hevan, managing to trade out the stab. Kenpachi getting Hevan, but still getting stabbed himself in the process. And Mom get the camera, going for the backstab, and he gets it onto Warlord. Warlord managing to have no impact in the game, and Pokemon jumps up onto the railing and kills off Extreme. The knife going in favor of Team Maddox. They should elect to stay on the D side since their executes are really strong, but Hevan saying, no, we're gonna play the CT side first. They do elect the CT side again. Yes, maybe it is a very smart decision. Again, for the same reason that I mentioned. We take out as many rounds as we do in CT because RT side is very strong anyway. Team Extreme have to play the T side first. We're going to rely on maybe their raw shooting from Dangal Hoga and Jihad John. The problem was last map with Train that Warlord and Dangal Hoga were not really familiar with Train's layout and the particular positions that the CTs could be played from, so they ended up getting completely rolled over. And Team Maddox again with Hevan this time getting the kit and smoke himself and making Roxy pick up that armor, probably realizing that yes, I can do a lot more with that pistol without armor, so you might as well take the armor and have the confidence to try and get a few picks off. D side going for that heavy B entry. Mom get the camera all the way out in deep checkers, but the CTs have wisely elected. They're gonna walk right into the B stack if they manage to not get a few picks. Rubik shooter out in the open manages to get one frag, tags down Jihad John really low. Jihad John still manages to survive the situation now. 3v2 in favor of the CTs, but Rubik shooter falls out down at headshot, and Roxy taking a ton of damage. Down at 6 HP, he falls, and now a 2v1 situation, and Hevan picking off Dangal Hoga. Now it's the war of the captains, Hevan versus Extreme. The mind games do begin, guys. He knows he's at CT, he knows there's only two places that he can come from. He starts pointing out that B-man, though he sees him crouched out. Hevan though is gonna play this really cheeky. He knows he's really up close and personal. The HP advantage in favor of Extreme, not anymore though, with 20 HP onto Hevan.
He's still gonna smoke, he's still gonna wait, and Extreme not falling for it. He doesn't hear the diffuse sound, he doesn't panic, and he holds the position knowing that Hevan is going to go for the frag rather than the diffuse. Even though Hevan had the kit, he could have technically diffused it. First round going in favor of Team Extreme, going really close, cutting it right to the edge. Force buy coming out from Team Maddox. Hevan investing in the scout without any armor, probably going to watch that angle over at mid, sending 2 people out at B, 2 people out at A. Standard default. Kenpachi coming up over at boost with a horrible connector smoke. God knows who threw that. That's fallen down all the way out at sandbag. Broken the vent. They know there's one out mid. He's taken control all the way up at highway. He's been spotted out though. Rogsy confused about his angles and he spots one guy out at A main, and he falls down to Jihad John. He does take Jihad John down to 25 HP. Warlord being taken down to 30 HP, and Mom get the camera, clears out that frag, but he knows that highway has been pushed, and he probably hears them out all the way at forklift. Kenpachi falls down to Mom get the camera, and Mom get the camera manages to get 2 for 1. Goodness, he picks up Extreme as well. The bomb's planted all the way over at A, and my dear friend Extreme, and he tags down Dangal Hoga to 28 HP out at the nade, picking up Dangal Hoga out at quad, and Extreme is now at A main. The plant is not for him, and Extreme should just back out the situation, try to get some exits, but no, Bogeyman knows that he is low. They defuse the bomb, and the SMG salvaged. 1 for 1 in favor now of nobody. And the scores are now equalized. Lovely comeback from Mom get the camera, picking up 3 frags in that round, having a very high impact in that game on the round. And now the CT is going again for the standard 2-1-2 with Maddox himself handing out that mid push, handling mid as an area by himself, spotting out the angle at boost. He knows that there's someone there, and he spots him out, but does not manage to tag him or even deal any damage. But Boogeyman on the other hand clears out Abdangal Hoga over at the B site. Abdangal Hoga probably playing the lurk as he has been doing all game. Rubik and Boogeyman though, they're completely clearing out this B area. They know that it's not B, they know the action's coming over at A, and we've got one guy working at mid. Extreme picking up Hevan immediately. This is now, no, it's actually not looking good. It's looking equally good for everybody. But Extreme now makes the situation down to a 3v4. There's only a deagle on the Warlord, so Extreme's gonna have to do a major amount of their work with that AK. He's still managing to stay mid, and he's broken both the vents, probably making the CTs panic. They're not gonna have any of it. And Rogsy now falling down extremely low. Only 8 bullets left for Mom get the camera. He manages to get 2 frags, reloads his gun with ease. The bomb's out at A main. The AK is still in the hands of Extreme. He still has to do that work. He might just be able to pick off the quad guy. He knows his guys over at A main. They've cleared out the forklift area, and he falls down with a bad timing on that Molotov, and he gets completely destroyed. Very unfortunate for Extreme. He should have realized that since his teammate has backed the quad guy off, the quad guy will naturally peek highway next, but was caught with a Molotov in his hands at the wrong time. 2-1 in favor of Team Maddox in what looked to be a decisive round for Team Extreme, having gotten off those early picks. It seems very unfortunate. Just electing to go for the pistols with no armor, the deagle in the hands of Extreme. He can be extremely lethal with that weapon too, with his kind of shooting. Kenpachi dropping the bomb over at the back of A main, making his way up at boost, but his teammate's already there. I just hope Kenpachi doesn't end up TKing his teammate right here. Extreme falling down over at mid, trying to get that pick with the deagle. Hevan landing a bullet straight to his head with that M4A1S. And now taking the passive angle, not watching boost but watching the crossover from mid to vent. He knows they're just pistols, they can't pick him off long range. Mom Get the Camera knows there's one out on A main. Roxy's called out that there's one blue door as well. The A main guy, one falls. Roxy picks off the one out at blue door. But slight bit of miscommunication there as Mom Get the Camera fires out in the blue door as well. Roxy not telling his teammate that the blue door guy has fallen as well, and the T's using that smoke as a one-way. Very bad smoke by the CTs right there. They managed to pick off Mom Get the Camera, but they're not able to salvage that gun, of course. It's only down to a 2v4. And it's very unlikely. Rubik holding the headshot angle over at B. Boogeyman holding boost, having smoked off mid. There's really not much they can do here unless no, Jihad John, he is not able to get the man off guard, and Kenpachi falls as well. Closing down the round. Roxy picking up his teammates M4A1S, probably gonna drop it back to Mom Get the Camera, and no, he doesn't. Mom Get the Camera gonna have to probably fend for himself unless Bogey gets a drop. No, he stays and goes for the FAMAS. A good buy, a decent buy coming out from the T side here. With Kenpachi in mid garage, trying to spam something but not getting anything out of it. Extreme giving the pop flash over the A side through the smoke, and again a bad smoke coming out from Forklift. Roxy, you do not want to use your smoke that way, my friend. Getting Molotov at Forklift, he's going to be forced to change his position. The default smoke also failing from the D side. They're going to make their way onto this A site. Molly is coming out towards CD truck. The Forklift guy falls, and Warlord being the only one managing to pick on Mom Get the Camera. And Kenpachi crying about the mouse, and Boogie picking up those two final kills. 4-1 in favor of Team Maddox. It's gonna be it's gonna just be pistols coming out for Team Extreme. And they're just playing the standard 2-1-2 setup. No, and in fact this time they elect to play 2 over at mid, expecting a mid rush, but the T's have made their way over to the B side, but getting walled off by that smoke, which is a really bad smoke, by the way. B-main smoke can be used to their advantage, and Jihad John getting picked off, but Kenpachi with the answer. They managed to get the AK in the hands of Extreme, and he's gonna look to get that pick into vent, maybe Boogeyman if he is not alert. Boogie picking off the right angle, though, firing off into the vent, and picking off the B-main guy. They spot a Warlord immediately, and Extreme trying to get up highway, get the pick, but Kenpachi with a lovely shot on the Mom Get the Camera. He can get the AK for himself. And they pull one guys up at B-main, Dangal tagging Boogeyman down to 1 HP. Kenpachi's only chance here. Boogeyman making his way into Sunroom. Kenpachi, though, let's see, what does he decide to do? He has been told that there are 2 over at the B site. He's possibly checking every angle, not wanting to make a mistake. Kenpachi does have the body armor. This still looks like he can possibly get the plant off. He knows he's checked off every angle. He knows there's probably one at quad, clears off the quad guy. And they're all the way over at B, making the long rotation. One guy coming all the way from A main and one from CT. And he's in a very bad position for this plant. He has to watch both angles correctly. He has to spot one out and make this a 1v1 situation for himself. Otherwise, he has no chance of escape. He almost does that. And bad crosshair placement, bad aim. Boogeyman was at 1 HP. If he had just taken out Rubik here, there was no way, it would be highly unlikely that Bogey would have been able to remove this round out by himself. A valiant try by Team Extreme, but still not able to close the round in for themselves. The loss bonus, yes, the loss bonus has now stacked up to its maximum. They're still able to afford the buy. Orb in the hands of Extreme. He is going to go for that body spam right there. And nope, the timing. The guy with the first spawn did not go for B. Go for the mid peak. The mid guy was late in coming in. And Hevan can pick up the position by sandbags, watching an extremely passive angle. He's gonna smoke it off, and maybe he just might spot Kenpachi all the way up here at boost. Jihad John has made his way to the back of A main, just watching that push. Monk at the camera though has been boosted all the way up onto the boost posy in front of A main. Bogeyman picking off Warlord immediately at B main. They still have one at Sunroom. Hevan spots off one under boost at Shoxy, and he gets him down to really low HP, and Kenpachi will fall over here to the nade. And so does Dangal in Sunroom. And now it's down to a 2v4 situation, but Extreme has picked off Roxy's predictions all the way up at Core. Roxy not being creative with his angles, just playing the same angle every game. Extreme spotting CT truck very patiently. He knows that the rotation is going to come in. His only chance here is to pick off one frag if they realize, but they're not worried about A control. They know that Mom with the camera is stacked up all the way on the boost, and he manages to get that one frag. They know he's there now, but he very smartly changed his position, and they managed to. And Mom get the camera. Lovely crosshair placement, my friend. 6-1 in favor of Team Maddox now. As I had predicted, it would really Team Extreme really needs to pull up their socks and buckle their shoes if they really want to get something out of this game. Because whatever they have to do, they have to do it right now, because the D side executes on Team Maddox are slightly more in their favor, with them knowing how and when to execute what, the correct flashes and smokes. They're going for the hardcore B. Rush 1 falls to the M4. Rubik Shooter completely plants him, manages to salvage that frag, but Extreme picks off Rubik Shooter immediately. The one let us drop down. Few of them drop down into fence. Boogeyman immediately picking up Kenpachi and Warlord, but they do have control of the B side. They spot out one in the deep side, but they don't have control of the bomb. The bomb is dropped all the way down into checkers. Extreme really low, still manages to pick off one with that M4. He's rushing down on the headshot, and Bogeyman almost falls down to Extreme. He's 9 HP, getting dinged by that M4. But Team Extreme, everyone not watching their angles. I think that was a fail flash coming out from the T's themselves that blinded Rubik Shooter, but at the same time it blinded the T's as well. They were not able to secure that frag on him as soon as they should have, and taken control of the site very smartly though. Maddox and Bogeyman playing all the way up ahead in vents and backing up Rubik Shooter very quickly. Now Bogeyman has made his way back into checkers, standard position, and Extreme now watching and firing out into mid, not being able to get many up in the body spam though. Kenpachi though spots out the boost. He knows there's one up there. Manages to tag Mount, get the camera down to 19 HP. And now Mount get the camera all the way out at MK Dangal Hoga. He has to be quiet here, and he doesn't manage just to get the kill under Rubik. He's running all the way. Rubik Shooter down by 52 HP. Hevan in the complete condom position. Mom get the camera, manages to get Jihad John at 19 HP. All of these predictions fall down to Kenpachi at forklift, and Hevan flashing into the smoke, planting for the default, and Kenpachi picks off Hevan, trying to make the crossing. They do not spot him at forklift, and Mom get the camera, picking him off from Blue Door. Warlord spotting out Mom get the camera. They know he's out over at court. It's a 1v2 situation. They just have to sandwich him. Warlord still getting the kill on the Rubik Shooter, but down really low down, and Warlord secures the round out at 1 HP. Well, I guess it's karma that he had to kill Bogey, who was himself 1 HP. when he killed out Warlord a few rounds before, or whoever it was. Like they say, guys, what goes around comes around. The CT side still barely surviving in terms of their economy. Only Bogeyman has a significant amount in the bank, but he's not going to be able to. Oh my goodness, Warlord, if you had just taken the shot right there, I would have called you a hacker, man. Rubik shooter peeking out, firing all the way. Warlord just lurking over into the B side. Jihad John, though. Kenpachi and Jihad John managing to take out the team captain. They know he's been playing alone at mid, so going for the mid control is possibly their best option. They go for the highway control immediately. They need one guy to salvage this aim in push, but Mom Get the Camera pushes out aim in, immediately takes control, while U2 Boogeyman just drops down extreme. And the bomb over at mid. Mom Get the Camera is now going to push his way all over at mid. The bomb has been dropped all the way at the back, and Mom Get the Camera knows that there's someone highway, but they don't suspect him to be there. But with goodness, with that kind of shooting, he still manages to get a headshot onto Jihad John. Jihad John caught completely unawares in his own world, probably. His teammate did call out that A main has been pushed. Care for back push, care for mid push, but with Extreme having fallen down, there's only so many angles. And the Brogsy almost finds Kenpachi out at connector, both of them spraying at each other. Kenpachi manages to get the kill on Mom Get the Camera. But can he get the kill on Rogsy? No, he doesn't. He falls 8-2 in favor of Team Maddox, and the T-side economy getting shattered once again. They still had the 7-round loss bonus to cover it up before they won that one round, and now all of it is in vain. They just had to win that one round and the CT economy would have been completely in shambles. But the CT economy is still not doing that well though, so it maybe Bogeyman can drop 2 for Masters for his teammates. The CT is still managing to get a buy for themselves, but if they lose this round, this is probably the last buy that they can make. They'll be going straight onto eco should they lose this round. Extreme realizing, getting a read on the situation, telling his team to force this. Kenpachi does have the money for one more smoke. He should probably get it, and leaving behind $350 isn't really going to do him much good this round. Wants to force that round out. Try to get as many rounds as they can. Are they going to go for the standard B-rush this time? Hopefully they don't make any mistakes. No. It seems like these are making their way up towards the A side with Extreme trying to come from blue door. He is going to smoke off the angle out at quad, if I'm not mistaken, and yes, the smoke does fall. He smokes off quad, and he's going to pop flash for his team in the smoke, and they are going to commence the rush. They mollied out forklift though, so 2 people burn in the Molotov. Extreme not pre-firing the NBK angle. Mom Get the Camera falls, but a little too late from Kenpachi, from Extreme. It's not something you'd expect from someone of Extreme's caliber to not pre-fire that angle, that there would be someone behind the smoke. He just directly ran in to check default. Very smart move coming out from the CTs there to molly off forklift, even though they knew that quad had been smoked off. So the only way for the T's to go was forklift, and they completely mollied that out for them. A sad flash coming out from Extreme, though there wasn't really a pop. That wouldn't have popped or flashed anyone. And Hevan picking up Jihad John, and Laguna Hoga immediately, and Warlord as well. And Roxy coming out and picking off Extreme. And the last man too falling down to Mom Get the Camera. 10-2 half in favor of Team Maddox. Again, this seems to be another one-sided map unless Team Extreme can now end this by round. Not too many utility, just smoke, flashes, 1 molotov, 5 flashes, 3 smokes and 1 molotov for them to work with. Whatever they
they do, they gotta do it fast. Extreme trying to look for that entry frag from blue door. Roxy making his way all over. He does. Manages to get the angle perfectly, but not able to hit the HP. And Roxy making his way over safe towards the red box, not wanting to wisely take that fight over with Extreme, and they smoke off the passing. Extreme going for that flash on to the A side, partially blinding the two people out at A side. Should be interesting. Hevan makes his way all over at CD truck. They know this might be an absolute A hit unless Extreme calls it off. Dangal Hoga falls down. Won't get the camera, just shutting out the blue door and going up over at taking the off angle out at NVK. And Hevan coming all the way over at highway, closing out the round by killing Warlord and Jihad John. Lovely economy now having been built up by the CTs. They're gonna really have to lose a lot of rounds to even have a dent in their economy. They have money to buy out for at least 2 more rounds. The CD side though not electing to give the orb into anyone's hands here. No, okay, we can do without it, we don't need it. Force by again coming out in the hands of Team Extreme. Hevan making his way through that mid smoke, which is very cheeky, seeing as the smoke was a little deep. He used that little gap and pushed right through it. And he smokes off a mid just to give the CTs are smoked off, and gets rewarded for that very cheeky play by picking off Jihad John, who had the UMP with him. Just Tech 9s and Eagles and B250s now for them to work with Warlord not having any armor on himself either. And Roxy managing to get a pick off to Kenpachi on Warlord, and Dangal Hoga finally picking him off, and Monga the camera picks out the quad and says, "Hello guys, I'm still here." And he knows he's on the stream. Monga the camera though, 26 frags, he's had the maximum impact this game. Right now on the CD side, holding his angles very cleverly, very cheekily, using the environment to his advantage. Probably Mom get the camera with a slight amount of BM there. Rubik wants you to go B. Yeah, Rubik shooters actually, he's not been getting too many people coming into his way, but when he has, well, it's been 14 rounds so far, he's died only 4 times, but now he dies again. Peeking out unnecessarily, getting hungry for frags, and the T's answering his wish and saying, "Alright bro, you wanna challenge us? We'll completely wreck you." Hevan's all the way up and vent might. The speed push could be very risky if they do not have one person watching out the vent. Mom the camera flashes up into A main. Jihad John picking up that frag with ease. He sees it coming a mile away. And Dangal Hoga mauling out Heaven. They've entered the B side. Come on guys, somebody watch the vent please. They know someone's on the side. Pokemon manages to pick off one. Gives Kenpachi down a low HP. Picks off Kenpachi. Picks off Dangal Hoga as well. And Extreme finally picking off Pokemon. But Hevan picks off Extreme and gets traded off immediately by Jihad John. Roxy though he's going to be cheeky. But Jihad John has a read on the situation. Smokes off Steve though, and it's all up to Roxy. The timing of when he drops down, he might just wait for the plant. He's been mollied off. Jihad John going for the triple box plant and hiding all the way over that default headshot. He's gonna hide, he's gonna play the waiting game. He's not gonna peek out. He knows he spotted him, and Roxy not gonna take that fight. Not very sure about his aim with headshots, and getting double blinded by 2 flashes thrown over by Jihad John. Decent use of utilities, wasted around 10 more seconds. It's some time for himself, and Jihad John picks off that round. And we're gonna see a 12-3 switch coming out in favor of Team Extreme. This could have been a repeat of Train coming out for 13-2, but no, Team Extreme still manages to salvage that extra round. Gonna see a pause out for 30 seconds. Yes, that was the beautiful voice of our organizer, Mr. Gunner, back there.
No kids coming out onto the CT side. Everyone is going to rely on their raw shooting to be able to take this round out. We don't see a smoke. We see a decoy coming out in the hands of Kenpachi as always, who won't invest the $300 in a smoke when he needs to, but is going to invest 50 in a decoy when he shouldn't. Gotta love the game sense there. And we are ready to go with Rocksteady not spending his 800. Okay, now they finally do. Smoke and 2 flashes coming out from Hewan. Maybe they're going to elect to go for that connector smoke and take control immediately. We shall see as the round plays out. Hewan dropping the bomb over at T-base, and bomb being taken out by Rocksteady. Rocksteady's going to lurk all the way over at B. That's not the wisest thing you want to do. The CT stacking 3 people over at the B side, with one side having highway control and one all the way over at CT truck. The smoke is going to bounce and fall all the way into crossing. They know something is up. Hewan is going to give his teammates 2 flashes, and they are going to enter this A side. But the bomb is all the way over at B. They fake this A side lovely. They fake this A side perfectly. The rotation has been pulled over at A completely. Dangal also being pulled out right there. And Jihad John picking off Rubik Shooter right there. But they're still going to commit to this A. It seems. And oh my goodness, this could have been such a decisive round if they had just faked that A side and come out. But Jihad John getting big, dropping the bomb down on the side. They know there's one guy out at quad, and it's a clean round for Team Extreme. Not exactly clean with the captain falling himself, but they managed to secure that round. Warlord buying that kit for himself. Kenpachi demanding a tactical pause. A technical pause, I beg your pardon. He seems to be having certain technical issues on his phone, which he has gone out to check right now. It's a 12-4 half to Team Extreme. 12-4 half to Team Maddox, I beg your pardon. And this is their chance, guys. This is the time for them to take a back seat, calm down. They really need to win this round. They won the pistol. If they lose this round, they probably lose the game again. It's a do or die for them. And their SMG rounds have not been, their anti-eco SMG rounds have not been the best. Again, in a map like this, the SMGs can still work. It's not a map like Inferno, which has very heavy choke points to deal with, where you want to capitalize on your range more than playing the close range. But Cache is still pretty open in terms of its angles. And Kenpachi is back. We should see the resume coming in within the next few seconds. So yes, now is the time for Team Extreme to buckle their shoes, and this is the time for them to make the comeback, which is extremely still very possible. Having made his with that scout, going to try and salvage some picks up at mid. Kenpachi and Warlord over at the A side. Warlord making the jump, spotting over at A main. Extreme is all the way up in the vent, but he might just catch Hewan all the way over at boost, trying to get that pick over at mid. Hewan checks vent, which is lovely timing coming out from Extreme. I think Extreme knows where he is. He has spotted him out. He's given the call, maybe. Monk at the camera, all the way out in the blue door with Rocksteady. They're planning to make a late entry by rushing onto the A side from blue door, and Kenpachi and Warlord are in passive angle and forklift all the way over from NBK. They see him coming, tag him out, and Kenpachi gets the second frag. Now Warlord turns him into toast. The Warlord's alone at the A side though. He's gonna immediately call for backup, but the Boogeyman falls. Boogeyman kills off Jihad John and Warlord kills off Rubik Shooter. Evan trying to get a pick with that Glock, but the Glock, as we know, is possibly the waste of a weapon in CSGO in any round except possibly the pistol round. 12-5 in favor of Team Extreme. They've broken the curse. They have managed to salvage the anti-eco. Kenpachi going for the M4 buy on a hard eco coming out from the T's, which means that should they lose this round, they may not lose it, but which means that should he die, he really will not be able to make that heavy of an investment. He really has to work on staying alive. They're just clocks coming out from 3 members of Team Maddox here. The Rubik Shooter trying to maybe go for the cheeky Zeus. They're going all the way up at B side. Headvan lining up that pop flash, which is going to go all the way pop route right from the smoke. They're not going to flash anyone. Dangal Boga and Jihad John completely wrecking that B rush, stopping it right in its tracks. Well, this was a throwaway round anyway. 12-6 coming out in favor of Team Maddox. Team Extreme having won the pistol round and the 2 successive rounds after, yes, Kenpachi does manage to save alive and save his weapon in the process. Double op setup coming out. Now this is what I was looking for, guys. Extreme gonna make his way over opping at mid, and Warlord is gonna be opping over at A. Extreme holding that very tight angle out at mid. Boogeyman's all the way up in boost. Jihad John getting the pick onto Hevan, who probably decided to take matter in his own hands. He gets spotted out. Boogeyman spots out Extreme at the white box through a grenade. Boogeyman's gonna drop down from boost. He's still all the way up on boost. He drops down now. Taking the bomb all the way over at Blue Door. Extreme gets the pick on Mom, get the camera, who decides to be too wide up on mid. Extreme's all the way over at connector. He's gonna slowly make his way over at the A side. He's got a correct read on the situation. The passing smoke comes out. Rogze and Kenpachi, it's all up to you now. These guys are yours. He gets one. He fires out. Almost gets the second, but the forklift comes in the way. Forklift, why do you do this, man? No one's out of name in. Boogeyman gets that pick. Oh goodness, he's picked off one from the forklift, but he gets one. He knows Rubik's out of forklift, and Extreme scopes out just at the wrong second. And I doubt they'll be able to pick up both ops. Yes, they managed to pick up only one, which is still excellent economic damage done by Team Maddox. Having dropped one of those ops, the CT team only being able to salvage one op out of that. They're still going to put that in the hands of Warlord rather than Extreme. Extreme is going to just play his natural game, which is rush. And the T's are going to be very aggressive in push. They got the pop flash, comes in, and guys maybe not going to get bullied out. Kenpachi is going to pick up Lord, falls down, and Rubik and Hevan completely demolished the A site, not leaving any room for error. The AWP in the hands of Rubik. Bogey's managed to get an M4 for himself, and Jihad John mollying out. The molly fails though. And Nangal is going to smoke that molly off, block the angle out at A main. He only has to worry about quad. He knows there's going to be one person there at least. I don't know if he suspects that there are two. And I don't think they realize, and Dangal did not call out that there are two out at quad. Faulty bit of crosshair placement because Hevan was looking, Rubik was looking all the way up at highway. Just had to pick off one, and maybe he would have gotten the second for free because Rubik was completely scoped in there. 13-7 in favor of Team Maddox, and Team Extreme goes in for the force buy. Maddox is going to go in, and he gets the body spam onto Extreme. Karma, bitch. Since Extreme has been notorious for giving those body spams in our LAN and Kenpachi manages to salvage a frag in the name of Roxley, but there's one guy all the way up in highway. Does Kenpachi notice that he's already out on A side? Jesus Christ, no, I think he's blissfully unaware. He's just going to inspect his weapon and switch and switch and switch and switch. And Dangaloga trying very hard, very hard with that max 7. 14-7 in favor of Team Maddox. It's not over till it's over, guys. Let's not get too excited. Sachin out here for an extreme, not expecting the body spam to be returned right in his face. That smoke is going to go and smoke off the angle at white box. He's not going to attempt the same thing twice, or does he? Yes, he does. He did attempt the body spam once again, but this time no one's going to peek out with that fast. Warlord is going to hold the long range angle with the UMP, which is possibly the worst decision he can make right now considering the nerf on that weapon. Don't want to hold a long range angle with the UMP anymore. Lovely Molotov on white box coming out from Hevan out at mid. Warlord's going to spot him out and immediately just back off. He knows that he's an operator. Hevan smoking off connector in response and immediately taking the lead onto highway, working his way up towards that bend. You've still got Dangal and Jihad John over at the B side. Jihad John having to go forward position. They know there's someone out at bend, and Hevan's going to drop down from there. He's going to get punished for this. He just might, and Hevan completely gets punished. Kenpachi punishing Mom, get the camera. Boogeyman taking extreme out of the equation. Roxy taking out Kenpachi. The A site is clear, but they've left the bomb over back of A main, and Warlord is going to make his way up here. There is no one here to keep the site under control. Roxy having elected to go back into A main and stay safe. This is the worst possible thing they can do. Warlord he's given his position and he still manages to secure one. Maybe they might just be able to get the plant out of this. It's still a 1v2 situation. Roxy is going to plant for default as he always does, and he's going to stay there. No, he does have a smoke to work with. He does go all the way around the bend to quad. He tries, but a lovely shot from Dangal Hoga catches him off guard as he was making his way up from A main. He does have to manage to try and find a rifle for himself. Yes, he does. He gets the AK. And 14-8 now in favor of Team Maddox. Team Extreme having salvaged that one round on the eco. The dream is still alive, guys. Let's not rush to conclusions. Team Maddox can still afford a buy right here, and they choose to do so. But should they lose one more round, it's back to the pistol armor for them. That nade is going to catch out Hevan and take out just 13 HP though. Hevan's all the way on his lonesome, and Jihad John manages to get that pick. They're gonna take the stack, but they're making so much noise while doing so. Roxy may have heard that already if he was smart enough to have heard it and where the sound is coming from. Boogeyman does get a pick onto Warlord, but Roxy drops down to 40 HP by Extreme spamming through that Pluto. Extreme making his way all the way over at CD truck. He knows that Kenpachi can cover this angle for him. All the way over at him. The passing smoke completely fails, and Rubik is going to get caught by Extreme. Kenpachi's position is still not spotted out. They do not know that he is here, and it's going to be absolutely devastating for them once they enter. And Boogeyman immediately fouls down to the boost. Kenpachi knows that the bomb has been dropped, and Roxy makes his way out from blue door. Does Kenpachi notice? But Abdangal Hoga is there to clean out the mess, and almost the lack of presence from Kenpachi, or the lack of sense from Kenpachi to notice that there was one guy already on site. Mom get the camera though. He's gonna take his bomb and run all the way out, thinking that he's going to fake, but no, he makes his way back into A. He's gonna walk right into this. The CT is smartly electing to play both on the same site and retake on the same site if there should be problems. He's got the angle right, and he's gonna immediately go for the plant, not realizing that this is not what, and Dangal Hoga clears out the frag immediately. Good shooting from Mom get the camera, but again, lack of presence of mind to realize that there could be another stacked up onto the A side. 4-9 now. This is starting to get intense. The force buy coming out from Team Maddox. Roxy on the Mac 10, 3 AKs and 1 UMP. Giman trying to get that aggressive peek out at mid. Got no one handling it though, and Hevan does manage to get a pick onto Jihad John. Then Boogeyman picks off Kenpachi, who was trying to go all the way out at mid, and Extreme gets picked up by Boogeyman. This is not looking very good for the CTs unless they really manage to pull a rabbit out of their hat here. Patty is now lurked. Roxy is lurked all the way back to B. Lurking all the way out at A, and Warlord is going to find the bomb. Somehow the situation becomes a 1v2 because the T's don't realize that there were 2 people still on the B site even after those many picks. And Warlord knows that there could be one guy lurking out from CT. He has to play this really smart. He's got a correct read on the situation here. Flash coming out through the B main smoke. One shot, and Jihad John making the right calls for Warlord, even giving the correct sound cues, but Warlord messing up his shooting there, not being able to secure the frag. 15-9 favor of Team Maddox. Match point here. Come on, guys, can we see Team Extreme somehow try to pull this into an overtime? This would really be fun. They seem to be going for some kind of YOLO A push here. Rubik's all the way up at Pluto. The only still got 3 AKs, and Roxy is going for the Mac 10, which is possibly, why would he do that? And Extreme manages to pick off Mom, get the camera, may manage to salvage a P90 for himself. Extreme playing all the way out at Sandbag. He's really low HP now. He's 26 HP. He wisely decides to fall back. Kenpachi out at Forklift. Extreme making the rotation. Bangal Hoga. And Extreme having a bit of banter right there. Passing smoke coming out. Sorry about the console, guys. Extreme has made his way up at quad. They may not smoke, they may not suspect that four members of the team. Kenpachi manages to pick out Roxy immediately. Boogeyman spots out the guy at Forklift, but he's not able to close that frag. Rubik Shooter again re-smoking the cross, but it's not going to be enough. And Kenpachi picks off Boogeyman, so Dangal picks off Rubik through the door, and Dangal picks off Hevan out at A main, and they manage to salvage 2 AKs from that and a P90. They can get a rifle for themselves. Extreme dropping the UMP wisely, picking out that M4. Jihad John going for the AK as well. They decide to leave the UMP in base. They've literally got nothing to lose. Now they played their heart's content. Pistol and armor coming out from Team Maddox with only a smoke, a flash and a nade. 3 flashes, a smoke and a nade to work with. Slowly making their way towards the B site. The pop flash coming out from Maddox may be for them to make their way out towards the B site. And Boogeyman manages to burn a little bit. Moment the camera takes some nade damage right there. This guy is completely flashed. Dangal Hoga taking a lovely shot from Boogeyman Gaming. Jihad John on site, and the 3 people on the B side, they manage to overwhelm him, but Extreme from CT manages to get the frag on Mom, get the camera. Someone really brave pushing out on CT though. That was Rubik Shooter. For some reason I do not understand why he would push out CT, but I guess maybe he had the C4 with him. No, and Warlord gets down to 9 HP, but still somehow manages to get that kill onto Boogeyman. 15-11, guys. Just 4 more rounds for Team Extreme. They need to take the game into overtime, and the T's will have to go for a hard eco here. There is no other option, and hopefully, just hopefully, even though anything can happen, hopefully Team Extreme manages to somehow win this round. Maybe Team Maddox has taken it a little bit too easy, and Kenpachi with that. Well, guys, he tried. You can't really blame him right there. Maybe he was just raging at his teammate. giving that one damage and almost flashing himself. Obviously making his way over Pluto. There's not much he can really do with that Tech 9. Boogeyman holding the deep checkers angle with the dealer, hoping that up Dangal Hoga maybe just might peek out from that place, because if he does, he is dead. Mom at the camera meanwhile already falls down. Obviously still over. Heavan managing to get tagged down. Boogeyman changing his position, he's being spotted out at Sunroom. Kenpachi killing Heavan. They know the C4 is in at A main. Dangal Hoga manages to finally kill out Boogeyman, who's lurking in the sun. Rubik shooter and all the way out at mid. Might just get this frag. And he doesn't, he chokes completely. He almost had that. Roxy picks off Kenpachi, and Kenpachi is in utter surprise as to how that happened. And Extreme gets a lovely headshot onto Roxy, even though Roxy manages to tag it down at 36 HP. 12 to 15 for 3 Extreme. Can they manage to pull off 3 more rounds? They've got the entirety of utility. They've got even upgraded pistols except for Kenpachi. They literally have everything. You've got just 4 smokes for the T side to work with. Shura not managing to invest in anything else. Probably just had the money for, just had that 3,700 to get the AK and armor. Making his way all the way up over railing, but the T's though have managed to somehow, not somehow of course, they have managed to get all the way into checkers. They've taken control of checkers with that B-main smoke, and it's all up to Warlord here. He has to peek out and get that one pick. It depends on his teammate over at the side though. Jihad John being very careful, not spotting them out. They have relinquished their checkers, deep checkers control. They're going for a more aggressive peek. Just in, and Jihad John picks Boogeyman off immediately. Boogeyman not looking in the right places at the right time, not peeking the correct angles, just going for that straight up white peek. That flash was literally in Jihad John's face. He knew it was coming, he could see it a mile away. But what is this? We see Monga the camera's made his way up into connector, and he's already dropped down Extreme. They've got connector control, and Evan has dropped down Kenpachi at highway, but Abdangal Hoga answers by dropping him down as well. Situations equalized with 3v3, but Monga the camera is down to 6 HP. Not really much that he can do, but at 6 HP, I spoke too soon I guess, and Jihad John falls down from full HP. Roxy's prediction has already made his way up over B. Warlord manages to get the frag onto the 6 HP guy, and they finally spot him. I don't know what Dangal Hoga did, and Rubik has managed to go over with the bomb. Roxy smoking out that Molotov, but to no avail. The nade doing some really heavy damage onto both of them, but Roxy manages to pick up that frag on Dangal Hoga. Warlord left alone in a 1v2 with the AWP, trying to get that quick scope onto Rubik Shooter, but Rubik Shooter kills him in return. And it's GG guys, 16 to 12 in favor of Team Maddox. Team Maddox wins the tournament and takes it away. Good game guys.